Hey, this is Ralph Mann, Mann's Adventures. We're about to do another cook by Todd Toven from Blackstone.com. You can go to the recipes and be able to print this out, but this is a seared salmon with tomatoes and capers. Looked good on TV. Susan's in the woods deer hunting and wanted me to cook supper, so we're going to give it a try. Starting out with some coho salmon. We got this from Wild Alaskan Company, but that's going to be our salmon. We'll season the salmon with just some olive oil and some Kinder's, the blend, that's salt, pepper, and garlic. We'll be adding about 10 ounces of grape tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, whatever you want to call them. We have cut the tomatoes in half, and so I've got them in a bowl. I've also chopped up some fresh basil. We're going to use that as well. We're going to season the salmon, as I said, with the olive oil and salt, pepper, and garlic. We'll put that on the meat side, and we're going to cook that on the Blackstone. We're going to have a cast iron skillet also on the Blackstone. We're going to be using high heat, and then we're going to also be adding some apple wine to this, and so we're going to put the apple wine in, the tomatoes, the capers. We're going to get all that going. We're going to sear the salmon, and then we're going to put it in here and add the basil as well, and then we will top with Parmesan cheese. We're going to start out by hitting the salmon with some olive oil. I'm going to go ahead and be sure and rub that in. We're going to put it down on the Blackstone meat first, so we got plenty of olive oil there. We're going to hit it with some salt, pepper, and garlic. Give it some good seasoning. And then we are going to sear this on the Blackstone here in just a moment. The Blackstone's on high. We've got a cast iron skillet getting hot too. We're going to mix the apple wine, the tomatoes, the basil, and we're also going to be adding the capers. So we'll start out with the wine, the tomatoes, and the capers in here. We'll put the salmon over here on the side, and then after that cooks down, we will add the salmon to it, and we will add the basil, and then we will garnish with a little Parmesan. Blackstone's good and hot, so we're about to go down with the salmon. And we're just going to take and put the meat, oil, and seasoning side down first. Got a nice little sizzle there. I'm just going to add a little oil in between it that was left over. And we'll let that go for about 4 minutes. While the salmon is cooking, we're going to add some apple wine to the cast iron skillet. We're also going to add tomatoes. And we're going to add some capers. Not something you hear this country boy say very often. And we're just going to let those simmer for a bit. We're just going to continue to stir this a little bit. Get all those juices mingled. And we've got about 1 more minute on the salmon, and then we'll flip it over and get the other side cooked. We're going to go ahead and give the salmon a toss. Oh yeah. Boy, that's looking good right there. We'll let that go for about another 4 minutes on that side. We're going to stir this up. It's getting good and hot and juicy, because here in just a moment we will flip the salmon over. And many of you who have watched our channel know my trick of getting the skin off. We'll take the skin off of it, then we'll place it in here. Salmon's looking really good. That's simmering on down. All right, let's see if we can go ahead and remove the skin. Look at there. Nice and easy. once you sear the skin side, it's pretty easy to remove the skin. Just slide right up underneath it, and you can take it right off. We'll save that for the dog, but next up, we're going to add that over here. Let's just go ahead and do that now. We want to add that into our luscious sauces. That one tried to get away. We're going to try and move the tomatoes around. Oh yeah. Get those tomatoes up over the top. Got that white apple wine homemade going. And we've got the tomatoes, and we'll add some basil. Fresh basil. Well, I decided to dump a whole batch of it in one place, but now all we've got to do, we're going to let that go for about a minute, and we're going to toss the tomatoes on top of it, and we'll be ready to plate. Boy, that's bubbling real good. That basil smell is coming off. This is going to be tasty. That looks pretty good. That one looks even better. Looks good and smells good, but let's give it a try. We've got some salmon. I need to, well, get me a tomato to go along with it. We've got the Parmesan cheese on it. That's right tasty right there. Well, I'm not sure that I got a bite of a caper, but there's a caper on this one. That's good. And a caper is not a word that this country boy uses very often, so I like it. What do you think, honey? I always ask her when she has a mouthful. Be sure and hit the like button, comment below, let us know how to do it better. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell, then you'll be notified when we put out another video. Until then, God bless.